Hello and welcome to Unit 5. I will be describing Chapter 5 in this video, which is supporting the power system and troubleshooting computers. In this chapter, we talk about, we start out talking about by cooling methods and devices. Heat is one of the biggest concerns when it comes to any size computer, from very small to very large, because when you're passing electricity through components, one of the byproducts is that it heats up. So here we see on page 186 different types of coolers, fans, and heat sinks. And you see how this fan here, for example, looks kind of orangey red. That's probably made out of copper. And that's what a lot of heat sinks and thermal removing devices or thermal handling devices tend to be made of in computers, because copper draws heat and removes heat very well. And then moving on, we see here in the case, this is a spot for, well, here's the power supply, where the power supply would go, and then here is where the rear case fan would go. There's the I/O panel down there. Again, here we see copper heat pipes. Here we see RAM coolers. Very rarely have I ever seen this professionally in 30 years. This is for cooling off RAM, again made out of copper. And then for the very exotic, we would have liquid cooling, which is more or less used for like gaming systems where you're overclocking a CPU and it's generating a very large amount of heat. So, but you would not use something like this in a production environment, like in a business environment. Just due to the instability and the risk of leaking. This part of the chapter, we're going to talk about the types and the characteristics of power supplies, types of connectors. If you run out of connectors, you can get these splitters. How to calculate the wattage capacity. Go to the power supply manufacturer's website, and they usually have a selection screen of the type of power supply. It helps you select based on the different types of items that you enter, and then I'll say, this is what you need. But in general, go with the biggest one that you can afford. Here's a hands-on project 5-1 and 5-2, page 193. I recommend you could do this. Shopping for a power supply. It is not a requirement to buy a power supply for this course. Okay, you can write about this. You do not have to shop for it. You do not have to spend money. You can price them, but you don't have to actually buy it. And here we are talking about, let's back up here for a second, how to approach a hardware problem. And it's going through the steps. Number 1, interview the user. Okay, ask questions. Let them lead, but direct them. Don't come with a question like, what did you do? Don't be accusatory. Good customer service skills help. Always have good backups. Make multiple backups. Step 3, here's here's a flow chart of how to diagnose a problem. I'll let you read through that. Here's another chart. Let's read that. Here are 4 troubleshooting rules. Go ahead and review those. Steps 4, 5, and 6. Fix the problem, verify the fix, and then document the outcome. Hands-on Project 5-3. Research the beep codes. Okay, so what's a beep code? UEFI BIOS has beep codes when it starts up, and it lets us know if there's a problem. And you can look up that list. Very easy to find. Troubleshooting the electrical system. Be very careful with this. I don't want anybody getting shocked or hurt. Make sure everything is disconnected. And if you don't know what you're doing, ask questions or get help. Intermittent problems. Problems that come and go. These are some of the most frustrating problems in the computer world. Definitely hard to detect because they come and go. They're intermittent. So, let's keep on moving. Power problems with the motherboard. Yeah, again, this could be something that's over many people's heads, so that's why I like to have things under warranty. Problems with overheating, definitely a big concern. Heat, as I say, is one of the more difficult problems to deal with in a computer system. So, things like making sure there's enough ventilation, don't put your electronics in front of a window or directly on the sun, things like that. And it says here again, for optimal airflow, don't leave any empty expansion slots and bays uncovered. It doesn't help. Okay, ATX airflow is very specific. Everything has a specific space and a pattern. So keep these covers in place. As you can see here, there's the airflow. Add more fans. Talks about power supply. Hands-on Project 5-4, identifying the airflow through a case. Hands-on Project 5-5. Talks about blowing the dust out of a case. Very dirty. We don't like it. It's one of the few uses for canned air, in my opinion. Always do it outside. Test an AC adapter. Unless you know what you're doing, please just be very careful. Troubleshooting motherboard, processor, and RAM. Then there's Windows Memory Test Diagnostics. Please, if you're going to do this applying concepts using the device manager to delete the driver store, don't do this on your home machine. Do this on a virtual machine or email me before you do this. This could be very dangerous and very destructive if you do that on your own machine, so please don't. Here this talks about discolored capacitors. That means that the capacitor is probably blown. It'll also smell really bad. Make sure you unplug it. Troubleshooting memory, and then talks about the sabotage and repair a computer. Be careful with these. Again, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't have access to a computer other than your own personal, I wouldn't recommend doing it. Troubleshooting mobile devices. Sometimes this is very, very difficult. You know, if it's under warranty, send it under warranty repair. Here's lessons learned. And then here's a chapter summary about cooling methods and devices, selecting a power supply, how to approach a hardware problem, troubleshooting the electrical system, troubleshooting the motherboard, processor, and RAM, and then troubleshooting mobile devices. Key terms, reviewing the basics, and then thinking critically questions. You can write about this if you'd like, or include it in your writing. And then real problems, real solutions. You can write about this too if you'd like. And then that is the chapter end.